Question 5, we want to find the shaded region here. So it's the area between the top graph, which is going to be this one, y equals 3 sine 3x, and this one on the bottom, which is y equals sine 3x. So the area is the integral of the top graph minus the bottom graph. You could do these separately. Sometimes you need to do them separately if one of the regions goes below the x-axis, or if the graphs overlap at some point. But this is a fairly straightforward one. You just need to do the top graph, which is 3 sine 3x. Sorry, that's not very good. 3 sine 3x minus the bottom graph, which is just sine 3x, and integrate all of that with respect to x. The awkward, well, slightly awkward bit in this question is to find what the limits are. You need, I mean, obviously that is going to be 0, but you need to work out what this is going to be here. So in other words, you need to find where the graph of sine 3x first cuts the x-axis after 0. If you think about the sine graph, the sine graph will look a bit like this. This is 0 here. This would be pi over 2, and this would be pi. So this is y equals sine x. And so the sine 3x graph would be a stretch, a scale factor, a third in the x direction. In other words, you're going to divide all the x values by 3 here. So it's going to go through at pi over 3. It's going to look a bit, made a mess of that. It's going to have the same amplitude, but it's going to go through at minus a third there. So the whole graph has been shrunk by a scale factor 3. So this graph is y equals sine 3x. So the whole point of that was to show that this point here is going to be pi over 3. And so that will be our upper limit. Our upper limit is pi over 3. So before we do the integration, let's simplify this. 0 to pi over 3, but 3 sine 3x minus 1 sine 3x is obviously 2 sine 3x. So we want to integrate that. When we integrate sine 3x, we'll get minus a third cos 3x. So this will be, once we integrate this, we'll get minus 2/3 cos 3x. And the limits are pi over 3 and 0. So substitute the limits in. We're already told the answer in this question, by the way, so it's really important you show all the steps of your working out. So if we now put in pi over 3 into this, we've got cos of 3 times by pi over 3, and minus 2 over 3 cos of 3 is 0. So this 3 and this 3 would cancel, and cos of pi I think is 1. No, it's actually minus 1, isn't it? So cos of pi is minus 1. So the first bracket will give you -1 times -2/3, which is +2/3. And then the second bracket, 3 times 0 is obviously 0, and then cos of 0, so let me just write down that gave us -1, and cos of 0 is +1. So when we do 1 times by -2/3, we've still got -2/3. So we end up doing -2/3, so we've got +2/3 here, which is 4/3, which is what we were asked to show in the question.